Hi shitties, it's me, Eddie Stevens. I'm back here in the Bosque. The Bosque is of course the forest which grows next to the river here in New Mexico. I've been running on a trail out here for over 15 years now. Not non-stop, obviously. And it's bloody cold today. It's finally... I've been complaining that it's been hot on these runs. Even in December, Christmas time, it was warm. But today it's actually bloody freezing. My fingers are numb. And I'm not feeling great about doing this video. I'm a little tired and I'm lacking confidence today. Which is why I'm glad it's so cold though, because I just took a piss and nothing builds my confidence like a slightly smaller penis. I say slightly smaller, much smaller, shrunken from the cold. The human body pisses me off in many ways. Today is the last, so sad, the last of my ever popular videos on English top 10/top 5s. So I went through every position in the England team and I ranked my top 5 or top 10, depending on position, players that are eligible for England. And we're all the way at the end. We're at loosehead prop. We started at fullback, I think. Maybe I did out, I can't remember. But we're at the end. Loosehead props. This will be quite an easy one, I think. Not too tricky. Last week's hookers video did phenomenally badly, like much worse than the one before, or really any of them in a long time, which is surprising to me because I really believed that hashtag hookers would draw in a whole new group. That's what it is. It was a bunch of people expecting some kind of kinky shit, and they're like, what's this guy doing talking about rugby? But as I point out in my... Oh, you know, I did get more TikTok likes. They must have been misdirected to my TikTok, which is very big with the gays, till they cancel it. But loosehead props, we start at number 1, and I'll name top 5 in my opinion. Feel free to disagree, although I prefer you didn't. If I forget people, as I always do, let me know in the comments. Where am I going? But I start at number 1 because it's more fun to work backwards until I get to number 5, and then you're like, what the fuck? What about this guy? Whereas number 1 we usually pretty much agreed on, and I think most people will agree with me on my number 1 right now. Obviously Joe Marler's retired, and whether you love him or hate him, most people hate him, I think. You can't deny he was a very good loosehead prop for England. But we don't have as many options right now, so we're going to have to... I'll start with the most experienced player we have, I think, and someone who I've criticised a lot, but this season has looked a lot better, has really come back into form with Bristol. Yes, it's Ellis Genge. Ellis Genge at loosehead. He seems to, for a while there, I felt like he was sort of coasting on his reputation. He had this reputation as like a hard man who would carry really hard and cause havoc. And for a few years now, I feel like he just sort of, for England and Bristol... maybe even for Leicester before that. I'm not sure how long this has been happening, but I felt like he was just sort of strutting around and acting like a badass without actually doing much, and also doing pretty badly in the scrums. But this season he's looked a lot better. I don't know what's happened, but he seems to have his act together, and easily our best loosehead right now, I would say. So Ellis Genge at number 1. Who's number 2? Let's see. My second choice loosehead prop, and I'm hoping he's fit now because that's been his biggest weakness, is that he gets injured a lot, is Beno Urbano from Bath. Every time he plays, he looks great. Pretty consistent in the scrums. He's a big, strong boy, and has never really had an opportunity to prove himself for England. So, for me, that's a pretty easy call. Of course, you might be thinking, what about Finn Baxter? I just haven't seen it. I think I would have him at third choice, since he's well established within the England squad and his reputation is good. I've not seen him play horribly for Quins or horribly for England, but I've just never seen him really stand out in any way. In fact, I'm probably being a bit of a hypocrite by picking him. But I'm too lazy to think of anyone else or change my mind now. Third choice. So many options. You're probably thinking I'm going to say something like, a poker for jour? Or what about Bevan Rodd? If you listen to my podcast, you've heard me say in the past that he is probably a luxury England can't afford. Have I changed my mind? I don't know yet. But my third choice loosehead prop is going to probably surprise you, and I doubt anyone will agree with me. But this is a guy that I have mentioned on my podcast before as being very underrated because he simply never seems to have a bad game. Every time I see him play, he scrummages really well. Isn't like super dynamic and eye-catching ball in hand, but he carries powerfully the way you would want a prop to carry. He works hard, doesn't make a lot of mistakes, and I really like him. And it's Simon McIntyre, who plays at Sale, and is probably second or maybe even third choice. I'm not sure, but, you know, I don't give a shit what the likes of Alex Sanderson think. I know best. And I got Simon McIntyre in third choice. Now, fourth choice. Now I'm kind of torn because it's probably going to be one of the two players I mentioned. And yes, I'm probably forgetting someone. Oh, I am forgetting someone. Trevor Davison. He's a tight head.
It was at this point that I fucked up the entire list and it turned into top 6 loosehead props. The reason my brain did this will be explained in the next scene. Enjoy.
Sorry, one of the dangers, and one of the few things that makes my decision to always record these outdoors right after I've gone on a long, exhausting run, is that my brain isn't working particularly well. But if you listen to my rugby podcast, you can barely tell a difference. Also, my hair's all fucked up pretty much every time. I need a haircut and I need a shave. I get it. But, I don't know, as I've been rambling and babbling on about nothing, I've realised that my fourth choice actually will be a poker for jour. And this one's similar to Finn Baxter, actually. I haven't seen him. I've seen him play a few times, and he's been all right. Hasn't looked terrible, but I don't know what the fuss is all about. But since players who know more than I do about front rows, know more than I do about propping and the dark arts, I don't know why I said that. Since they all seem to rave about him so much, you know, like I said, he hasn't looked bad. He's obviously got potential. Yeah, I'll have him. And then, wait a minute. Does he play for Sale? Where do they play him, tight head or loose head? Fuck, I should have done some research. I'm about to name 3 Sale props. That's stupid. I shouldn't do it, but I'm going to. Because in 5th choice, I'm going with Bevan Rodd. I'm pretty sure I named 3 Sale props in reverse order of how they're rated at Sale. But I want Bevan Rodd here at 5th choice because, yes, I said he's a luxury we can't afford, but I'm actually going to take that back and say he's a luxury that we can't afford in certain matches. If we're going up against South Africa, I don't really want Bevan Rodd starting, unless we get the ball in and out of the scrums at lightning speed, and we have a few tricks up our sleeve. I mean, it can be done. But generally speaking, it's a horses for courses thing, and Bevan Rodd is so fucking good in so many areas, and he's a bit flaky in the scrums. But do you know what? Even the scrummaging, I think, it's become sort of political, and it's become sort of trendy to penalise every English scrum, so it almost doesn't matter, I think. But that's my top 5. I have a feeling this will be the most... I said at the start of this that it would be easy. I actually think this will be the most... I was going to say, and actually I will say, probably ridiculed. I have a feeling that people will think this is really stupid. I've definitely forgotten at least one significant loosehead prop, and I've definitely named a couple that most of you think shouldn't be anywhere near the England team. But my hand that is holding this phone is actually turning blue, so I've got to stop now. Follow me on Instagram at Eddie Stevens Massive. Listen to my podcast, subscribe to Rugby Rant Banter. Follow me on TikTok before they ban it, and like and subscribe to this, because I'll come up with something else soon. I've got to go, bye.
Ride it to the dawn. You should let it go. I know what you want.